Hey guys, Ron here, and a couple months ago I released a video in which I gave Pokemon teams to various celebrities, and it did okay. So here's part 2. I decided to stream the creation of this video a few weeks ago, so a ton of you guys helped me come up with all the Pokemon that these famous people would have if they lived in the Pokemon world. Of course, the celebrities are a mixture of living people who have been famous for a long time, and those who are new to the scene but super relevant over the last year or two. Of course, there are hundreds of Pokemon to choose from and only 6 slots per trainer, so forgive me for not including a few Pokemon that may be obvious to you. I just don't want to hear "Where's Ariana Grande?" or any other celebrity who was in the previous video, so make sure to check out part 1 if you missed it. If you can, try to follow me on Twitter or here to know when I will be streaming the creation of part 3, but let's start our list of stars with Star-Lord himself. Chris Pratt is here with a team that was hard to conceive, honestly. We're starting with the actors this time, but you'll find that for a lot of these actors, I'm focusing on the roles they've played themselves, and not the other famous characters in their franchises. So Trevenant or Zigzagoon to represent Groot or Rocket won't be here. Chris has a Cosmog to represent Star-Lord, especially since he's as mischievous as Nebby, but also because I gave all the other star Pokemon to other celebs on this list. Combi represents Legos, since Emmett from the Lego movie is voiced by Chris Pratt, and Stakataka is too menacing, so I went with these yellow cuties instead. Ludicolo and Snorlax represent the carefree, lazy but lovable and huggable Andy Dwyer from Parks and Rec, one of my favorite shows ever and Chris Pratt's breakout role. And as a raptor handler from Jurassic World, it would make sense for Chris to train a loyal Grovyle and Tyrantrum. The next actor needs no introduction, but he does need our respect. Robert Downey Jr. gets some Pokemon. Scizor, Genesect, and the Arc Reactor-like Golurk are his Iron Man monsters. Metagross represents Tony Stark's intellect as well. The detective Pokemon Gumshoos is here for Robert's fantastic role as Sherlock Holmes, and Mime Jr. is a fellow junior himself, but also a reference to his role as Charlie Chaplin. And indulge me if you will, but I'm sure Robert Downey Jr. is a master trainer, and he loves his Pokemon 3000. But let's not forget another major sacrifice. Scarlett Johansson's here with a lot of femme fatale Pokemon who ooze badass femininity. That was really hard to say, femininity? Whatever. Gardevoir and Milotic just represent this beautiful talent in general, while Ariados, Liepard, and Salazzle, and the martial artist Mienshao represent Black Widow. Gardevoir honestly fits Black Widow too, who was trained as a ballerina. I couldn't really find a Pokemon to represent Ghost in the Shell since the other robot Pokemon were taken, but these Pokemon generally fit Scarlet to a T. I'm not going to apologize for not including a Pokemon that represents Lost in Translation or her, because no Pokemon like that exists, that also embodies Scarlet. I tried very hard to not have any overlapping Pokemon between the celebs in the previous video and this one, but I didn't fully succeed, so at least I prioritized not giving the people within this video the same Pokemon. Moving on to the embodiment of all that is good in an actor, Tom Hanks. What a swell guy. He's known for being a master of his craft and as friendly as can be, so Beware represents all the hugs I want to give this guy, but also Toy Story as a whole, considering Stuffle is basically a stuffed animal. Darmanitan's here since, like Woody, it'll at certain times freeze and become inanimate and zen. Trevenant and Torterra also represent Woody and Forrest Gump, since Trevenant protects the forest and Torterra is a forest. And a super slow one, just like Forrest Gump, although that's just mentally. Gump is really fast. But not only does Torterra represent Toy Story and Forrest Gump, but also the Green Mile, a good nickname for Torterra honestly, and the island that Tom Hanks was trapped on in Castaway. Pyukumuku also represents Tom's buddy Wilson from Castaway, and Hank's trusty Mantine will help him get off the island. It represents both Captain Phillips at sea, Captain Sully in the sky, and Captain Miller from Saving Private Ryan, since Mantine has the gunfish that is Remoraid on its wing. How many captains has Tom Hanks played? That's crazy. But what's better than a captain? A prince. You bet your bottom dollar Will Smith has some Pokemon. Primplup, the prince that he is loyal to his trainer Will. Behem represents the Men in Black, hunting down aliens, and Independence Day. Thundurus is the genie, and I mean, what else would he be? Parasect is an I Am Legend zombie. Hitmonchan represents Will Smith's role as Muhammad Ali, and Registeel is for iRobot. Will Smith has a pretty diverse team, I'd say. And I'd bet all the Pokemon are flocking at the opportunity to be trained by Keanu Reeves, but here are the breathtaking Pokemon that Keanu chose for himself. Porygon 2 is literally Neo from The Matrix. Octillery, the tank himself, the mobile artillery octopus, is John Wick personified. Pangoro is also as lovable yet deadly as John Wick, while also wearing Neo's coat. Marshadow is also a crazy good mix of Neo and John Wick when you think about it, and of course we can bring it all back to Keanu Keanu's first major role as the time-traveling Ted in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure with Celebi, who only listens to the purest of trainers. Also explains Keanu's supposed immortality. And considering Keanu is a huge motorcycle enthusiast, what better Pokemon to ride around on than Go-Goat? And Keanu has a Lillipup, but it's not on his team, cause Keanu doesn't make dogs fight. His Lillipup just stays away from battle. It's music artist time, and what better star to start with than the Queen Bee herself, Beyonce. Vespiquen is pretty self-explanatory, but it also gets its combies into formation with attack and defend order. But female Pyro represents all queens as well. Hoopa puts a ring on it with its halo-like rings, while Pirouette Meloetta dances and Mega Altaria sings. And if Pheromosa isn't just an alien bug version of Beyonce, then I don't know what is. Taylor Swift is back in the spotlight and her Pokemon are joining her too. Starmie is the Swift Pokemon and Taylor is a star, so no regrets with this one. Considering half of her songs are about terrible breakups, Frostlass is a good fit. You know, the icy ghost woman that kidnaps and eats men. She's the essence of songs like Look What You Made Me Do, Blank Space, and Bad Blood. Pom Pom Oricorio is Taylor Swift in Pokemon form. It's hilarious how accurate I am with this one. And Maractus shakes it off while Sobble cries everywhere and gets teardrops all over her guitar. Sylveon has Taylor Swift aura all over her ribbons while representing Taylor's recent LGBTQ advocacy. Speaking of which, Lady Gaga obviously has a team of some rad Pokemon. The rainbow Pokemon Ho-Oh is pretty on the nose, but I like it. Minior is a star in disguise while her red hot Blaziken inspired this outfit. She takes her Aromatisse with her to all her red carpet events, and what mega pop star doesn't have a Primarina on her side? And when you think about it, all her hit songs and various dresses and costumes are represented by this trusty Ditto. Ditto is the Gaga Pokemon. But you guys have to understand something. I'm not doing groups of people like bands or entire sports teams, but the K-pop group BTS was so highly requested that I had to do it to them. They're some of the best-selling artists in the entire world and super influential, so here's BTS's team. Now this is why it was pretty helpful to have a live stream chat giving me ideas, because the only thing I know about them is that they're Korean and that one of them speaks English pretty well. But I also decided that they have more than 6 Pokemon and they swap out their Mons based on who they're battling. Each one has their own evolution, wishy-washy, unknown letter, and a few Zygarde cells, basically a bunch of Pokemon that are technically a group of Pokemon, but the Pokemon they own as a team are Executor, Deoxys that can turn into multiple forms, but also represents their song DNA, Love Disc for all the songs that they have with love in the title, but also because Love Discs swim in groups, Spiritomb for their song Idol, but also because it's technically a collection of multiple souls, Alolan Dugtrio, the boy band Pokemon, and Stakataka since it's one unit and consists of many separate parts. But the next two are known for being recent and young breakout stars. Billie Eilish is in the building and her team was fun to build. Absol just embodies everything about this girl. Darkrai is basically how Billie Eilish feels and looks on the inside based on her own interpretation, although the hair does match. But it is a fact that while they may not be evil, both Absol and Darkrai are interpreted as the bad guy, just like Billie herself. And you can't have Billie Eilish without a spider, so Galvantula is here. I was gonna give her Vaporeon for ocean eyes and her blue hair, but turns out she actually hates the color blue. She's pretty odd. Gothita is just teeny little Billie, Scrafty is where she gets her baggy fashion sense from, and Cofagrigus, while also super appropriate in general, represents her song Bury a Friend. Now, Post Malone has had a bunch of hit songs in the last few years. We have Sunflora for Sunflower, Comfey, which can make you better now for Better Now, and the Crazy Malamar for Psycho and Deja Vu. For Rockstar, we have a literal rock star, Solrock, Tangrowth for his entire look and, hobbies, and Musharna for the dreamy and atmospheric sound of Post Malone's music. That wasn't too hard, but let's get even more epic. Time for the Game Changers. The creator of the world of Ice and Fire, or as you may know it, Game of Thrones, George R.R. Martin has an impressive team of Pokemon. White Kyurem for both Ice and Fire, while sticking to the whole dragon motif, Hydreigon for the Targaryens, Zacian for the Starks, but also because it's a wolf with a sword. I mean, that's as Game of Thrones as you can get. Corviknight for all the crows and ravens in this franchise, and finally, Aegislash and Bisharp for all the medieval-style bloodshed that occurs in Martin's books. I wish we had room to include Sawsbuck and Pyroar to represent the Baratheons and Lannisters, and I was even considering Zoroark for the Faceless Men and Delphox for the Red Priestesses, but 6 Pokemon's the limit. That's why it was also super hard to come up with J.K. Rowling's team. But thank God there are only 4 houses in Hogwarts. The Harry Potter author has the witches Delphox and Miss Magius, Honchkrow for House Ravenclaw, the Badger Linoon for Hufflepuff, Serperior for Slytherin and the antagonist of the series, you know who, and Pyroar for Gryffindor and the protagonist, Harry Potter. Now it's time for one of the most influential women in the world and the first African-American multi-billionaire, Oprah Winfrey. Of course, she's known for her famous talk show and philanthropic endeavors. Since she gives huge prizes to her audience, she has a Delibird, Blissey, and Jirachi, Leavanny and Kangaskhan for being a mother figure to many communities, and Victini for all the good fortune she's had later in life. Simply a good Pokemon that represents her fame as a whole. Usain Bolt, the fastest man alive, also known as Lightning Bolt, has a Zeraora, Deoxys speed form, Zebstrika, his trusty Arcanine whom he races against, daily, Hitmonlee to coach him on all things leg-related, and Electrike, the fast pupper that represents Team Jamaica. While Usain Bolt has the fastest Pokemon alive, our pro gamer representative has the second fastest. Ninja has a Ninjask, and the other 2 Ninja Pokemon, Greninja and Excelgor, Kingdra and Clawitzer for sniping, and Simipour for Tyler's hair and vibe. And last, but not even close to least, probably the most honestly, we have Satoshi Tajiri, the creator of Pokemon. His favorite family is represented by Poliwhirl, and his interest in bug collecting, which sparked the idea for the franchise, is represented by his best friend Heracross. He has a bunch of firsts on the list: Rhydon, the first pocket monster officially created, Venusaur, the first fully evolved Pokemon in the Pokedex, Mew, the ancestor of all Pokemon, and one of the only to be able to transform into any other Pokemon, and finally Arceus, the creator of the Pokemon universe. I really hope you guys enjoyed, and if you want more, leave a like so I can give teams to people like Gordon Ramsay and John Cena in future videos. Subscribe for more and check the description for the t-shirts I made for you guys, the music I used, and the link to my Patreon where you can get cool rewards like seeing my videos days early, which you can also get by pressing the join button and becoming a member. I'll see you guys very soon.